What's good, everyone, and welcome back to another reaction video. Today we're going to be reacting to game theory, what everyone missed about Amanda 3. So Amanda 3 came out about I like to say somewhere in December, but I'm thinking that came out around the end of November. At least that's what comes to mind in the grand scheme of things, but I can't say for sure. So anyway, besides that little bit of information, I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you do, hit the like button below, hit the subscribe button to support the channel, support the content provided, and so on and so forth. Hit the notification button, be notified immediately when your video comes out. The notification button, be notified when a new video comes out. I think I already said that bit. But if there's any videos you'd like to recommend that I should react to, put it down in the comment section below, and I'll react to it as soon as possible. And link to the video is going to be down in the description below, so be sure to give Game Theory's love and support for the video that they made that I'm reacting to. Now, with that all said, let's get right into it. We have a bit to get through when it comes to this, so yeah. Again, hope you all enjoy. Let's get on into this. Let's see what we all miss in Amanda the Adventurer 3.
Amanda the Adventurer is over. That's it. The final installment has been released and the series has officially ended. So, over the last 3 years, what did we get right? What did we get wrong? And what mysteries are still left to solve? Hello, Internet! Welcome to Game Theory, the show that's never truly ready for a franchise to end. I mean, when was the last time we saw that in the indie horror space? But here we are at the end of 2025,
fair.
and Amanda the Adventurer 3 has released and ended the entire series. We've spent 3 whole years theorizing about this franchise, discovering the truth behind what initially appeared to be a kids-friendly TV show a la Dora the Explorer. We learnt about the real child star Rebecca and her adoptive father Sam. How Sam sold his show to Hamlin Entertainment, and how suddenly both of them disappeared from public view. Hamlin Entertainment rebooted the show as an animated one, but it took a dark turn. There were reports of demonic messages hidden in the show, and the main character Amanda was teaching horrible lessons to the kids, much to the displeasure of her new co-star, Wooly. But this wasn't just corrupt scripting, it was because Rebecca's mind had been put into the show, while her body faded and rotted away.
Sometimes I feel myself rotting.
Although, while the messages were dark, for some reason, it managed to lure the children away from their homes, just like the Pied Piper of Hamlin Town. Yeah, the company name wasn't a coincidence. These children ended up inside the show, and all that remained were the tapes that we've been watching. But as we tried to destroy them, a monster showed up with the same pigtails as Amanda, and it kills you. This monster is protecting the tapes, protecting the souls that are trapped inside. However, if we don't smash the tapes, then we are visited by another monster, a contorted, demonic version of our pal, Wooly. We play as Riley, and we've dug through our aunt's attic and public libraries, read news articles and bedtime stories, and we've watched so many VHS tapes to uncover all of this. But despite what, looking back, feels like a lot of information, we still have a number of mysteries left unanswered. Where is Amanda? What happened to Sam? How are these monsters created? What's Hamlin's real plan? And of course, who the heck is Wooly really? That last one has been the topic of debate across most of our videos and across the entire fandom, but today I say no more, because at the start of this third game, we're in the sewers, having just narrowly escaped the sheep monster's jaws. Here we find a secret entrance into Hamlin's secret facility, and the answers to everything we've ever wondered about this weird kids show and the cult behind all of it. So grab your trusty map one last time, theorists. We're gonna need it it as we explore these hallowed halls and solve the mystery of Amanda the Adventurer. But before that, really quick, I've got a special announcement. It can be hard to say goodbye to franchises we all love like Amanda, but the truth is, there's a lot that goes into making games like this that most of us will just never see or understand. I wanted to
True.
fix that. So on Saturday, December 13th
Oh.
at 2 p.m.
It was an ad. Okay, so I'm thinking... Okay, yep, there we go. I got it right now. Oh god, why did it do that?
With Amanda. As you might expect, Amanda 3 plays out very similarly to all the others so
thing
far.
disappeared.
You use VHS tapes to interact with Amanda
like
and
that.
Wooly, and use items found around the room to solve puzzles. Just like last time, Wooly is being strangely adversarial, trying to keep Amanda on track with the quote-unquote correct story and focused on him, rather than, actually helping her to remember her past. But by doing just that, we unlock more areas, including the chamber from the demo containing stasis chambers and a delightfully culty church altar complete with pentagram. After doing enough of Amanda's tasks, the door inside the church opens up, revealing one last stasis chamber, the one with Amanda inside. Finally, we let her out, only for the woolly monster to arrive, leading to Amanda's monster fighting it off. See guys, I knew there'd be a kaiju battle. They fly off the edge of the platform into the abyss, and Amanda says, "Now I'll never be whole." This is obviously the bad ending of the game. It's not particularly satisfying, plus we didn't unlock any secrets to get it. That being said, even with just a normal playthrough, a number of mysteries can finally be answered. Firstly, the kids being lured away by Amanda to Hamlin are absolutely being plugged into the show as background characters like we predicted several theories ago. There's a moment where Wooly's monster is coming to attack us, but before reaching us, he ends up in the same room as the stasis pods that we saw in the demo. It seemed pretty clear that these were the kids that were being stored so that their minds could be uploaded into the show. You can even see their decomposing body parts floating inside of them. But while watching the tapes, it becomes abundantly clear. Amanda's new opossum friend, Chicken Scratch, or as we know him, the little boy Jordan who went missing in the first game, at one point approaches the screen and his eyes glaze over. At the same time, so do all the eyes of the background objects. As we turn around, we see Wooly's monster is destroying the room, leaving the whole show to feel more lifeless and empty, allowing things to stay on track just as Wooly wanted. Another thing that's been clarified is
I see. That's actually pretty horrifying, in all honesty.
us, the player. We've been playing as Riley, whose aunt gave us her house, told us to go into the attic and play a tape of an old TV show. But she warned us if we do, we can't go back. Naturally, we did watch it, and that's what started us on this whole adventure. But why did we do it? And why did we stick with it despite the very obvious threats? It's a classic indie horror question, and normally the answer is, so the game can happen. But in this case, I think we've actually been given a deeper reason. Once you resolve the beach tape, Amanda retells the story of when she went to the beach with her adoptive father, Sam. This idea repeats across all of the tapes, with her and Sam going and doing various things. However, there's one noticeable difference about the beach tape. Sam isn't the only person she mentions. She also mentions another little girl, her best friend that she used to play with. This is the first and only time this other girl comes up, which stood out as odd to me. Why introduce another character to this story? Why couldn't it just have been her and Sam playing at the beach? Unless this character is supposed to mean something. I believe the reason it matters is because that little girl is us, Riley. In this game, we see that Rebecca disappeared in 2003. Now it's 2023, according to the radio playing the 2023 President's Day broadcast. 20 years have passed, and we can see that when Amanda gets out of the pod, she definitely looks and sounds older. If she's been missing for 20 years, then this other little girl would wonder what happened to her friend. It would also explain why why Aunt Kate was so involved to begin with. She was connected to the library where the show originally started. She would know Sam and therefore Rebecca. This could even be how Rebecca and Riley met. So, when Sam and Rebecca went missing, Aunt Kate wanted to know why, and therefore, after she mysteriously disappeared, so did Riley. That's why we know what Amanda is thinking. We follow her lead, her stories, her memories, because we remember her from back then, and it's why we're determined to find her. But as I've stated, that's what we get from just a normal playthrough. We still have to get the good ending, and to do that, we need to find the colourful secret tapes that Amanda is well known for at this point, and oh boy, do these things flip everything on its head. Especially the first secret tape you can get, the red tape. In it, we are watching security footage of the Hamlin facility being reviewed due to a security breach. No, not you. Sam Colton has escaped from his room and makes his way into Rebecca's room, the room that we have seen her in previously with all of the wires connected to her. However, as he does this, there are aggressive tremors, and Sam crawls out of the room, followed by Amanda's monster. We've known for a long time that Hamlin is dealing with the demonic in some way, with the mentioning of demonic names from Rebecca. And the references to demonic messaging within the Amanda Show.
The last 20 weeks of this kids show, there have been over 40 mentions of these entities.
This game does seem to lean into that with the altar and pentagram within the facility, but what's interesting here is how they refer to this monster. What we've been referring to as Amanda's demon, they refer to as the Colton anomaly, as in something that wasn't expected. Amanda didn't summon a demon that they wanted, but they lost control of. This isn't part of their demonic ambitions. This is something they never anticipated. In this tape, they theorize that seeing Sam caused a, quote, neuropsychic surge that caused the anomaly to come into existence. This is Amanda's creation. It does look demonic, and that could very well be because of the demonic and cult influence Rebecca has been subjected to at the facility, but essentially, this thing has been born from Rebecca's imagination. We also get a little more information on this thing from a toy called Blabbo the Clown, the creepy cousin to our beloved Blabbot who was ripped away from us far too soon. Oh no!
Give me another chance.
No!
We were going to have such a beautiful life together. Please do not forget me.
I'll never forget you, Blabbot! Throughout the game, we get codes to help us on our journey, usually to help solve a puzzle. But occasionally, we get a code that we can punch into Blabbo and he'll give us some interesting secret information. One of which focuses on the Colton anomaly.
Often, these episodes are frequently lethal, precursed by a perceived threat to any recording containing the animated Amanda character.
In Amanda 2, it became pretty obvious that the Colton anomaly was protecting the tapes, killing Joanne when she destroyed one in the bad ending. But what's fascinating is why. In previous theories, we theorized that it was the souls of the children abducted who were in the tapes, and that she was trying to protect them from suffering a similar fate to her. Obviously, in this game, we've talked about how the kids were in the stasis pods, not in the tapes. So, what is the soul-like substance we're seeing come out of the tapes that the anomaly is trying to protect? Well, in the bad ending, when both the Colton anomaly and Woolie's anomaly fall off the platform, Rebecca says, "I'll never be whole." And in the good ending, we actually receive one final tape that Rebecca then breaks, releasing more of this soul substance, and we watch it, along with the anomaly, go into Rebecca. So we can conclude that these souls inside the tapes are actually part of Rebecca herself. Her soul split amongst the various versions of Amanda that we've seen, each one containing part of her memories separated from one another, waiting for us to come along and put her back together. So why is the anomaly trying to stop the tapes being destroyed then? If Rebecca needs to be whole again, isn't destroying the tapes exactly what she wants? I was wondering about this for a bit, and I believe the answer simply comes down to timing. At the end of the day, this anomaly is trying to protect Rebecca. The Blabbo message goes on to say that they believe destroying the tape...
Okay, a bit of it is going over my head. But I'm guessing this has something to do with the fact that um it has to be done when she's out of stasis, if I'm correct. Or at least that's what I'm theorizing when hearing all this.
tapes weakens the connections it has to Amanda. And in another tape, we see a Hamlin representative asking the public to give them the tapes so that they can destroy them. They want to remove the monster so Rebecca can once again be kept under control, and they can continue with their plan. The anomaly, which was conjured by Rebecca's mind as a way to protect her, doesn't want Hamlin to do that, and so attacks anyone that attempts to do so. However, by the end of the game, Hamlin is gone. They've left this facility, and we are here to take Rebecca to safety. Once Rebecca is whole, Hamlin isn't there to control her. She's safe, and so the anomaly allows Rebecca to destroy the final tape and become whole again. That isn't the end of what these tapes offer us, though, as there's one more detail from the red tape that finally helps us settle the biggest question we've had about this franchise once and for all. Who is Wooly? From Wooly's trying to...
That is a good question. Like, Wooly seems like a weird character. And that is to say that while I haven't played the game, well, I especially haven't played 3, I do know for a fact that Wooly's character is a bit bizarre, to
keep
say the
Amanda
least.
calm, to Wooly's grave in the woods being filled with familiar human clothes, to him being coerced into giving press conferences on Twitter, it felt like the game was pushing us towards Wooly actually being Sam Colton, Rebecca's father, now in the show thanks to Hamlin. Even in this game, when Amanda is remembering her true past involving a taller man, her father Sam, Wooly keeps insisting that it's actually him she remembers, almost like a father trying to reach out to his daughter, telling her he's right in front of her. But then we have the red tape. And after the Colton anomaly jumps into the ceiling, this happens.
Respondents confirmed SC-96's injuries were fatal.
Sam is dead, meaning he cannot be Wooly. Well, you win some, you lose some. I guess now I get to join Matt in the Hall of Incorrect Theories alongside Phone Guy's Purple Guy. So, if Sam is out of the picture, then who the heck is our annoying fluffy boy? Who is this character that's eluded us since the beginning? The answer is lying in plain sight in this new game. Using another secret code, we get an update on the Colton anomaly from Blabo, but this one mentions a name.
Mountain stewardship continues to have an overall calming effect.
Mootman. Where have I heard that name before? Oh yeah, it was on the monitor in the control room. Marcus Mootman is named to be part of the replication process for Bioexperiment 0823. The screen refers to the experiment as Shepherd, which another secret Blabo soundbite tells us is the name of the Wooly anomaly, a created version of the Colton anomaly, but this time under their control.
Report on Project Shepherd. We
Huh.
are pleased to report that our attempts to recreate a stable, trainable facsimile of the Colton anomaly may be turning a meaningful corner.
Wooly, much like Amanda, is tied to this anomaly, and when he crashes out at the end of the game, that summons Shepard to come and stop us from messing everything up. But finally, we get to meet Marcus in the last secret tape. It's fine, he's just some dude, but he does show willingness to follow orders whatever the cost, which is exactly what they need from a person who is responsible for controlling Amanda. Marcus is Wooly. Now, credit where credit is due. Fellow creator Mozilla actually figured this out months ago thanks to the first game's end credits. In it, there's a hexadecimal code when you look at Wooly's birthday singers. If you translate that and then use a Caesar cipher, you get the name Marcus. Not that we'd have been able to do much with it because Marcus wasn't mentioned at all in Amanda 2, but I digress. Mozilla, great job. And with that, a lot of big mysteries from this franchise
Alright. Good for you, man. Now, on to the...
are completely wrapped up. A true first here on the channel, but we're not done quite yet, because there's one anomaly-sized mystery that's yet to be resolved. The why. What was the purpose of all of this? We discovered that Hamlin Entertainment is absolutely a cult, so why did they need to lure all the children? What was their ultimate goal? Well, in the hallways before you enter the altar room, you can see there are 3 different paintings. Each of these paintings are real, historic paintings, and they each tell a story. The first one is called titled On the Horizon, the Angel of Certitude, and in the Somber Heaven, a Questioning Regard. Yeah, it's a bit of a long title, but the original one's in French, and I am not trying to pronounce that. Not after the Pokemon episode, anyway. This is a painting from 1882, and the symbolism behind it was about existential uncertainty and the search for meaning in the universe. The moon with the eye represents the universe, showing it's not just us gazing out with questions, the universe has its own questions for us. At the time this painting was made, scientific advances began challenging faith. This painting reflects that tension between scientific observation and spiritual assurance, and how people were beginning to waver in their faith. Makes sense for a cult, right? They are often outsiders to the rest of the world because they quote-unquote know the truth, while the rest of the world falls for the quote-unquote lies of science and other faiths. The second painting, the one with the weird chicken skeleton that bears some resemblance to the anomalies, is The Temptation of Saint Anthony. This painting is one of a series, and it shows Saint Anthony, an Egyptian monk who spent years in the desert confronting many demonic spirits. It's a story of resisting the earthly temptations and desires offered by demons, which is weird when we know that Hamlin is in the demon business. So why hang up a painting that is a cautionary tale against them? Well, similar to the previous painting, because the demons and temptations they're referring to aren't the demons they're worshipping, but the false deities the rest of the world is worshipping. And that seems to be the case when you look at the third painting. This one is called The Cult of the Demon. It highlights people who partake in idolatrous worship, engaging in rituals. Typically, this was to deter people from that way of life. But for Hamlin, it's literally telling us what they believe. Unwavering faith and avoiding the lies and temptations of the world. But what does this have to do with capturing children? Thankfully, there's an audio message on repeat that fills in the gaps.
Who among us has not been told that in the beginning there was light, pure truth, and that this was the original gift of God? That over the millennia, we have tarnished this gift by introducing darkness and concealment. This, my brothers, my sisters, is a lie.
Okay, so how I was interpreting those paintings was absolutely on the right track. Cool. Now, I really would love to show you the whole thing because it's actually pretty good, but it's just so long. So let me instead give you the cliff notes. This preacher refers to the great nil, essentially the nothingness before creation, as the true origins of everything. But the world uses light to hide that truth. He claims children are the closest thing to that great nil, as they've yet to be tainted by these fake truths. But because their imaginations are limitless, they can help us all to return to the darkness from which we came. This might sound just like your typical indie horror jargon, but it stood out to me because it's actually very similar to a Swedish Luciferian cult known as the Temple of the Black Light. Similarly, they believe the universe is an artificial construct and that our true origins and ultimate reality are primordial chaos, darkness, and the void of nothingness. That organized religions of any kind are all corrupt and deceiving, only there to hide the true nature of our reality and prevent us from being able to perceive spirits. And while this was a Luciferian cult, as in they worshipped Lucifer, Satan himself, some were also known to worship demons from the Ars Goetia, a book with a list of demonic entities who embody the ideas of darkness, chaos, and the destruction of the cosmic order. That's why we hear Amanda calling on the names of demons from the Ars Goetia in the first game.
Fire, fire, pie man, Lamb.
She is being guided to the spiritual reality Hamlin is after, and using her pure imagination as a child to perceive these spirits and maybe bring them into reality. Even their company name ties back to all of this. You see, before the time of the Pied Piper, the prevailing religion in the real city of Hamlin was Germanic paganism. But due to Christianity taking over the region around that time, most of the pagan rituals and practices were made illegal. One theory is that the Pied Piper was a Germanic pagan, and when he stole the children, he took them to a hillside to take part in a pagan celebration, the summer solstice, bringing the children back to their original religion. With the power of Rebecca's imagination, Hamlin can now lure more children, show them the way, plug them into the show, and eventually combine their powers to bring everyone back to the truth, the nothingness that started it all. How exactly that works is a little unclear, but while I was trying to figure it out, I realized that ambiguity is for a reason. This game could have gone into explicit detail about these plans, plans and how the TV could bring us back to nothingness. But by leaving it blank, by not explaining every mystery, it forces us to think more deeply about the entire franchise. And while I was doing that, I was reminded of conversations I'd had with my brother about his kids and the shows they watch. He keeps telling me about the amount of shows like Cocomelon, content with no substance designed to steal kids' attention, their focus, their imagination. There are plenty of studies around how iPads and highly stimulated shows can affect kids' ability to play and use their imaginations. Kids are being metaphorically pulled into these shows, unable to look away, throwing tantrums when it's turned off. Their imaginations are being absorbed by these shows, these businesses, slop that returns their minds to nothingness, rather than teaching them messages of knowledge and morality. Hamlin being an evil cult is obviously an over-exaggeration, but the point still remains. The truth and light that they fight against is what we should be encouraging in our kids. As we see right at the end of the game's credits, Rebecca was always encouraged by her father Sam in her imagination and shown good moral character. Because of that, Rebecca's pure imagination became so powerful, Hamlin's plan backfired. While she was able to essentially summon or create some kind of demon-like entity, it's there to protect her and kids like her, not to help Hamlin bring around their return to nothingness. And now it's up to us to do the same. But hey, that's just a theory. A game theory! Thanks for watching. World premiere on Game Theory. Poppy's Chapter 5 teaser is here, and the mysteries it holds.
Okay, so I'm going to admit, wasn't what I expecting. Okay, that's not helpful. But yeah, that was an interesting. Yes, anyway, that was an interesting thing to go over. Raises a few things when it comes to questions, but it makes sense as well. But yeah, I basically understand what's being said here. Well, at least for the first half. It seems like for Amanda the Adventurer to solve this whole thing, the goal was to more accurately wake everyone up than anything else. So yeah, that seems like the explanation needed for here. Think about it. It does make sense. Since Riley was in a non-alive state of mind. So it makes sense that an answer like that would be the case scenario here. But overall, I'm gonna admit that I did get lost within that explanation. Like I just couldn't really put it together in simple terms, because that stuff did get a little over my head when it came to a thought process. So yeah. But yeah, overall, that's my thoughts on the matter. So I do hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, hit the like button below, hit the subscribe button to support the channel, support the content provided, and so on and so forth. Hit the notification button to be notified immediately when the video comes out. There is not much to really say, because it pretty much says for itself on what we're expecting here. But yeah, explanation's pretty much there. Nothing to really say on the negative side of things. But yeah, overall, I hope you all enjoyed this video. Like, comment, subscribe if you did enjoy it. And I'll be sure to see you all in the next video. Bye.